overhead. We were talking about product costs and how overhead is part of the product cost. You had direct material, direct labor, and overhead. And then I had made a little note when we were going through basically the T accounts here that was actual costing. Because what was happening? I was putting actual cost of overhead into the work in process account. Well, there's a slight problem with that. Actual overhead. Well, what's going to happen? Well, first off, you don't necessarily know your actual cost until after the period's over. Or after the fact you manufactured your product, you need to know its cost so you can sell it. So what we got to do is figure out, well, how do we handle that to get the actual cost going? How do we deal with, we have our product finished, we can't tell the customer, well, we got to wait to sell it to you until we know how much it cost us to produce it. Well, what we do is called normal costing. Normal costing takes what's easy to capture. Well, actual direct material cost. Well, that's easy enough. Purchase the direct materials, and you're just pulling those direct materials out of your raw material storage. So you know physically how much flour you put into those cookies. You know how much you paid for that flour. So as far as, on a time basis, you can quickly get the actual direct material cost. So we'll put the actual direct material cost into our working process. Actual direct labor cost. Well, you have it already figured out how much you pay your direct labor workers per hour. And since you can't store direct labor hours, you know actually how many direct labor hours they're working pretty much instantaneously. The month ends, you know how many direct labor hours were used that month. You know when a job is finished, how many direct labor hours went into it. No problem there getting the actual cost. And we're going to use estimated, or we're really going to focus on calling applied overhead, because we don't necessarily know actuals yet. The timing is off on that. We also have the problem with actual overhead in understanding, well, when we have a seasonal type product where we have a spike in production, well, we have those issues with knowing when to keep our overhead matched up, fixed overhead amongst all our products. We have the problem when there's variations in actual overhead that have nothing to do with activity. If we run the air conditioner in the summer, so electricity goes up. Does that have anything to do with the fact that we produce more units? Why then, if we were using actual overhead here, that then it's only in the summer, we have higher electric costs, which is going to mean if we have constant production, suddenly the cost per unit is going to increase. I got one arrow. Cost per unit is going to go up just because it's the summer. It's kind of hard to justify that. And it's hard to kind of understand when you're evaluating a manager, your cost went up. Summer, we have to run the air conditioner. Nothing to do with, anything else. So we want to try to smooth out those overhead costs throughout the year. So we're going to apply overhead.